सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Yesterday we learned the first thing you got to choose is the field of activity. Swadharma. Swa means one's own. Dharma means your innate nature. It is important, it is paramount that you operate in a field that you are designed to where you should be. You're designed for it. Everything in nature has a place, and everything in nature we learned is true to its quality. So it is also important that we fall in line with nature by operating in a field which you are designed to be. In fact, the first mistake you would do is by getting into a field which is not designed for you. If you are a singer, sing. If you are a dancer, dance. If you are a mathematician, do mathematics. If you are a philosopher, philosophize. If you are a butcher, do, I don't know, butchery. I don't know the English word. Whatever your dharma demands you, whatever your nature compels you to do, you must do it, because that's what you are. And the sooner you do it, that very moment you become so comfortable. Then we said, having chosen the right field, you must learn to operate. What is the mode of conduct you have in the field you have chosen? Whether you operate with a spirit of sattva, whether you operate with a rajasic mindset or with a tamasic mindset. Tamas, rajas and sattva are the three states of mind. Every one of us, all of us are constituents of these three gunas. It's the permutation, combination of these three gunas differentiate all of us. And as the spiritual as your sattva rises, your spiritual quotient also rises. Sattva we described as a state of mind where you're mature, you're very calm, you're contemplative, you're introverted, you're naturally very meditative. A sattvic person doesn't act impulsively. There is no impulsiveness in a sattvic person, because there's a lot of thought behind his action. You pause and you act. Sattva, everything is very measured before you do anything. That is sattva. There's a lot of composure, there's a lot of substance in what a man of thought does. Rajas is, in fact, you can say sattva is one who performs inspired actions. His actions are inspirational. Rajas is where you become a victim of your own desires. You fall a prey to your mind. as a result of which there is a certain amount of frenzy, you get into an excitement, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of mental flux, there's a mental disturbance, restlessness. Tamas is a state where there is no action at all. An attitude of don't care attitude, an attitude where in fact that attitude reflects in everything that you do. So we learned that you must aspire to step up from tamas, identify areas where you are tamasic, inject action where you are tamasic, and where you are rajas, where you getting carried away, getting excited, getting unnecessarily worried, affected, you must inject some sattva. So that's how slowly you rise from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. And then we left with a question yesterday evening. I don't forget when I give assignments. You must have thought, thank you, he's forgotten the question. Let's move on with the flow. Nobody minded to even remind me, Guruji, you asked a question yesterday, what happened about that? I know you all very well now. 2 days is long time to assess you all. Now, what's the question? What's the question?
How to be asura santi? How do you reach the state of sattva?
Another question, eh?
How do you get to the state of sattva?
How do you get to that state of sattva? How do you perform sattvic actions? That was the question. Because as we also, another flavor of sattva, rajas, tamas, we said tamasic people are, what are tamasic people? They are peaceful, but they are not productive. Rajasic people are productive, they have all the wealth that they can work and earn it, but they are not contented, they are not peaceful and happy with that wealth they have acquired. So one aspect of life you find, one aspect of the world, there are people who are productive and not peaceful. One aspect of people are peaceful and not productive. But you want both. You want to have the wealth of the world and you want to enjoy the world. You don't have a choice. It's not neither or. You got to have both. You want both. But humanity is unable to get to that point where you can have both these in your life. And that's only possible when you are able to rise yourself up to the level of sattva. So until you put that effort, you will not be able to achieve that. So the question is, how do you get to that state of sattvic actions? Now I need to move on because I have a lot of ground to cover. Please, if I can, firstly, if I can have a show of hands, how many have an answer? Yes, sir. Can use the mic so everybody can hear you.
In brief, if you can combine the action of rajas with the calmness of tamas, you can reach the state of sattva.
In fact, you wouldn't want to have the calmness of sattva because calmness of tamas, because tamas is, as we said, inaction.
But that's a very positive aspect, is the calmness.
But the calmness is arising out of ignorance. Tamas is arising out of ignorance. As they say, ignorance is bliss. Would you want to be in bliss out of arising out of ignorance? Nah. I want to be in bliss arising out of wisdom. That is the difference between tamas and sattva. Now I get what you're saying, that you need to take the aspect of that and do, but that's the point. How do you get to that? I know where you're getting, but how do I get to that state of sattva? What is that tool which helps me to perform sattvic actions?
Meditation.
Sir, meditation is the height of sattva. In fact, the most, if you are able to meditate wholeheartedly, genuinely, being true to what that term means, You must be extremely sattvic already. I'm already having $10 million in my account. I'm asking how to become rich. I go to the bank manager and ask how to become rich. The manager says, "Arey sir, you're already rich. You have so much money in your account. Don't you realize that?" Sorry sir, I forgot. You see what I'm saying? If you are meditating, you already are very sattvic. So the question is, how do I reach sattva? Yes, Sureshji. Just hold on please. Okay, pass the mic to you.
When you become conscious that you have only a right to action and not to the fruits of action.
What would happen with that?
Then I would not have the agitation of a rajasic mind. I would do my duty and not bother about the result and simply go with the flow and treat triumph and disaster with the same equanimity and equal poise.
You speak the gospel, I can't say anything wrong about it. So I don't know what to say to that.
You do actions with yajna spirit, Savi Samosam.
Do actions with the spirit of yajna. Now glad, I'm sure there are more answers here. The only way you will be able to get out of rajas and get into sattva is by the third element which we were supposed to get into, is to conceive an ideal or a goal in your life. Only when you pitch up a goal or an ideal in life, that is when your actions will rise above the rajasic cadre and get into a sattvic cadre. Because the difference between rajas and sattva, rajas is a man who's running behind his desires, trying to satisfy them. As you know, it's like Akshaya Patra. The more you dish, there's more that comes out. You fulfill one desire, there's another desire to satisfy. And that desire list is unending. So you can spend rest of your life trying to give in to your mind's desires and wants and yet remain yet to be satisfied. There are many desires, still they'll be knocking at your door and say, "Hey, what about me?" So the only way you get out of that is by conceiving an ideal. And what conceives an ideal? What is it that conceives an ideal or a goal in life? Your buddhi, the intellect. So the difference between rajasic actions and sattvic actions, rajasic actions are driven on the mind. You're trying to fulfill the desires generated by the mind. Sattva is you're acting on the intellect, which is conceiving a larger good, a higher cause, a greater purpose. That is the definition of a goal. So right with the understanding, let's right away get into the concept of what is an ideal or a goal. So the three types of actions a human being can perform. What are the three types of actions? All your life you are performing actions. What are the three types of actions you can perform in your life? You are performing, in fact. Sorry? Not in that sense. In that sense you are performing, you are eating, sleeping, walking, talking, whining, dining, 110 things you do. I am only saying three.
Good actions and bad actions.
Two. What about the third?
Neutral.
Very good. Accounts,
Student.
தெரியுது அந்த எஃபெக்ட் தெரியுது அங்கே பக்கத்தில் உட்காருங்க. You put it in your own way, good, bad and neutral. The three types of actions one can perform. The first is selfish actions. The second is unselfish. The third is selfless. The three types of actions, all your actions can be classified into these three categories: selfish, unselfish, and selfless. Now quickly, what is selfish actions? Selfish actions are categorized as those who don't have an ideal, don't have a purpose, they don't have a spirit of yajna. They operate with a spirit of non-yajna. All that they are interested in is their own personal interest. They are all the time looking for opportunities to grab and aggrandize for themselves. What the spirit simple thing is, what can I get out of anything I do? When I meet a person, the only thought I have is, what can I get out of you? In what way can I be benefited with this transaction, with this interaction? So the spirit of a man who is selfish, he is always a taker. And he doesn't leave any opportunity to grab anything for his own personal benefit, personal agenda. The worst, something, you hear a lot of nonsense that happens around. You know, one instance, some information came to me. Two brothers who live in a house of, first brother lives on the first floor, another brother lives on the ground floor. Ailing mother, elderly mother, she lived with the one son on the ground floor. In the wee hours, she passed away. The son upstairs happened to come down for some reason, and he saw his mother passed away, and he could ascertain that she is no more. Quickly what he did, he carried the body to the first floor and took a lot of thumb impressions on blank stamp paper and put the body back later until the family woke up and realized that she was no more. But then he couldn't do a neat job in clearing the ink marks on the thumb. I say, I've heard so much, you hear so many things that happen around. But what is the thought process? You want to grab, that doesn't need explanation. That mindset with which you approach life, how can I get out of it? Horace Greeley, in fact, he's an American editor, and he puts it so beautifully. It is the darkest hour of your life when you plan to earn money or want to get something without working for it. When you want to acquire, when you want to enjoy something without striving and struggling, you just want to enjoy something without working for it. That attitude, you want to get something free, it is the darkest moment of your life, remember my friends. And there are moments where we behave in such selfish manner. Remember this. The lowest. And if you are a taker, in fact the majority of society are takers, sadly. And yet we learned the other day, the first day if I'm not wrong, he said, this world is not designed for non-sacrificers, isn't it? This world is not a place for non-sacrificers. If you are a sacrificer, you have a place in this world because everything around you is giving. The earth yields vegetation. Any number of times you throw a seed, the earth will not go on strike and say, no, I will not germinate, I'll allow the seeds to germinate, I will not allow it to grow. No. Again and again you keep eking from the earth still yields vegetation. The sun gives vitality. Today we are complaining of the sun. Imagine living in a sunless world. My God, you will curse, you will die. You wouldn't want to live in a sunless world. Sun gives vitality, radiance, everything bristles into activity. The clouds open up and pour and give rain. Everything, life thrives with rain. The cow gives milk. The bull is ready to slog in the fields. What are they doing? Are they not doing with a spirit of giving and service? So if you are a taker, remember, you are not wanted. You are not accepted. So a simple thing, I give you a job. You have a job, a portfolio. When you have a job, Does the organization expect you to serve the organization or get benefited by the organization? Which is logical? You are paid for your services, but yet you are expected to serve the organization. But imagine you go into an organization and start abusing and milking the organization to you look at opportunities, how I can be benefited by the organization. You use your power. There are people, they abuse their power and position just to gratify their hidden demands. They have many, many hidden agendas and they find every possible way and means to satisfy that hidden agenda. The worst of people. Such people live at the cost of the organization. There was a case, a big MNC, the CEO of that organization took a private chartered plane to fly within US to file for bankruptcy. He is going to file a bankruptcy. He flew in a private chartered plane of the organization to file for bankruptcy. It was a big news. A big bill was given for going to apply for bankruptcy. What audacity is that? What amount of arrogance is that? Ramji? If this is the state of the leaders, if leaders are of this caliber, huge MNCs also will collapse. Have you not seen in history? Huge organizations, countries, humanity can go in disorder if you operate with the spirit of my right. Even in a relationship, if husband, spouse are operating in a spirit of it is my right, I want it, that relationship will not last. But if you operate with the spirit of what is my duty towards you, my dear, what can I do to you? Instantly the relationship thrives. Relationship lasts. Wherever there is that spirit of taking, it will suffer. Now look at this verse from the second chapter. Durena hyavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanamanvichha kripana phalahetavaha. Kripana phalahetavaha, far inferior to yoga of knowledge is action. If you compare knowledge and action, obviously knowledge is far superior to action. Later on, if not today, tomorrow, we will see how knowledge precedes action. You need the jnanam to be able to do the right thing. If you put an end to your learning, that very moment you stagnate. So knowledge should be a continuous process. Seek refuge in knowledge. Wretched are those whose motive is the fruit. Kripana phalahetavaha. So if any one of you are looking for a motive on the fruit of your action, wretched are those. Look at that. It's a very strong word for the Lord to speak. In a man of culture, they don't speak such words. They're very refined. You know, a person who is refined doesn't speak broken language or vulgar language. They don't speak that language. So if a person like the caliber of the Lord himself were to use the word wretched, you may have to magnify it a few times. How strong is his views of those who are only seeking fruit for themselves. Wretched are those. What does the wretched mean? What's the English word for wretched? Look it up in the dictionary. Never mind. If it is new in your vocabulary, you better pick it up and figure it out what it means. It only means the lowest, the worst. Huh? Sorry? Then two other things come. I will not say that. That you know what it is. Unselfish. The second category of actions are unselfish actions. Unselfish actions, as Sidhuji said, you perform with the spirit of yajna. And where that spirit of yajna, see the concept of the word yajna, it may be familiar to most of you, but most people relate yajna to a fire worship. It was a fire worship, a pre-Vedic ritual. It was always meant to be a fire worship, but Vyasa pre-Vyasa it was known to be a fire worship. Post-Vyasa he impregnated it to a different meaning. He gave a new meaning to the word yajna. So what it is, yajna, is how you can convert every action you do into worship. I am doing this action. Can this be a yajna? The moment it has a larger purpose. Any action that you do, it can be cooking, it can be sweeping, it can be lecturing, it can be selling a product. I was very impressed with this young boy. I briefly met him yesterday. Your name, Pa? Hari? Krishna. Hari Krishna. I met him yesterday. And he was saying that I am pursuing UPSA, civil service. He is trying to aspire, is appearing for exams very soon around the corner. And he said, I asked him, why you want to do it? He said, my goal is I want to impact 10 crore lives in my life. Look at that vision. In some way or the other, by taking that position, being in that place where if I'm able to impact and transform that many people's lives, blessed are you. Blessed. And don't give up that goal. That was my advice to him. Don't give up that goal. No compromise. Even before he gets to that position, you may get name, fame, power, recognition, but put that aside. You're not there for that. You never lose your focus. What's your purpose? So when you identify with a larger purpose, when you are interested in what can I do to others, in what way can I touch lives of others, how can I impact and transform others, if you place others above yourself, and when you work with the spirit of service and sacrifice, such actions are unselfish. Such actions are said to be done with the spirit of yajna. Yajna, even the ritual, is always a community worship. When I am doing homam or yajna, I don't only do in my home and lock my doors and windows, no. In fact, it is done in the open and the whole community worship. So everybody is invited. So in the same spirit, anything that you do, include everybody in your cause and let it everybody, not only Ramatirtha says, when I grow, it's not only for my growth, I grow and I take everybody along with me. So if I am able to come and speak few words of wisdom, you don't have an iota of an idea how much effort goes into it. Even in any sport, you look at a sportsman effortlessly playing a stroke and the ball soars beyond the boundary into the stands. Effortlessly it travels 70, 80, 100 meters into the crowd. You only see that moment of miracle, but you don't see hours and hours and hours of practice and practice and practice and practice. Maybe every day he would receive 1,000 balls thrown at him. And that moment of miracle that you see, but you don't see what has happened behind the scene. So if I have to be of some help to you, I must be worthy of being of help to you, isn't it? And the only way I can be worthy of being help to you is by helping myself first. So let me uplift myself so that I can uplift others. Not for myself. I'm not doing for my own well-being. It's not at my cost, but I'm including you in my journey. You don't have to sacrifice yourself, don't worry. You will be taken care of. If I think only about others, then what about me, sir? I am little concerned. Clarification. What about me? First drop thinking of that I. That's when you do. In fact, E. Carpenter, the famous brahmachari of England, he says the only way you will do good to yourself is by clean drop thinking about yourself. Don't stop thinking in bits and pieces, not in halves and quarters. Clean drop thinking of yourself. That's when you will truly do good to yourself. In fact, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, I think Samuel Coleridge is the one who wrote that Ancient Mariner. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the famous play. And he says, common cause is an uncommon degree, is what the world calls as wisdom. What we say, work for a common cause is an uncommon degree, means you don't come across people who have that grander vision, who work for a larger interest, who think for a common cause. It's an uncommon degree, he says. Because everybody is only interested in his own well-being, sadly. So each of you should ask yourself, what can you identify with? What is your goal? And the only way you can ask what is your goal is, what am I working for? Keep asking until you get a clear question. For what am I doing? For what am I doing? For what am I doing? Don't tell me I'm working to earn a salary just to feed my family, just to build enough resources for their future insecurity. No, please don't say that. That's the lowest a human can think and do. So you must start questioning until you get clarity. Oh, this is what I'm working for. Is it for my family? Is it for my community? Is it for the society? Is it for the nation? Is it for humanity? For what are you working? A very famous words of the second chapter. Swadharmamapi chavekshya navikampitum dharmyadi yuddha cheyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Arjuna is collapsed, no? In the first chapter and 10 verses you find Arjuna is in despondent state. So that fellow has dropped action, and Krishna, the Lord is trying to appeal to Arjuna. Man, looking at your duty you should not waver. He is confused. Why am I to fight the battle or not today? Look at yourself. There is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a righteous war. You've been fighting so many battles all your life. Not every battle was put up for a righteous cause. Here you have a righteous cause to fight for. Realize that, man. And then the very next verse again he says, Yadrichaya chopapannam Svargadvaram apavritam Sukhina kshatriya partha Labhante yuddhamidrisham. Happy are the kshatriyas who get such a battle that comes unsought as an open door to heaven. It's an open door to heaven you are getting, pa. Not every action you take is for a cause, isn't it? You are getting a cause unasked for. You have not asked for it. You are getting a door to heaven. Take it and do it, man. Chumma vela panupa. Heaven, you will get heaven. So when you get an opportunity to serve, don't think twice. Grapple it. Don't complain when people knock at your door for help. No, there were days where beggars used to come door to door in the early mornings. Nowadays we don't get them. Sometimes, this sight is very, very strong in my mind, a leper sitting in that trolley, somebody, a spouse or a wife, somebody is pushing, and they come door to door in the mornings. And they come by 6:30, 7, because before the sun hits down on them, they come for whatever that can be given to them. And I see some people, they curse them. First thing in the morning, I opened the door, I got to see your ugly faces. Hey, chalo yaar. Get out of my sight, you fellows, useless fellows, nothing else to do. And there are people who say, maaf karna. Kuch nahi hai dene ke liye. You see what I'm saying? You are seeking forgiveness from that person. I am not in a position to serve you. But look at that thought. Maaf karna. I can't give anything to you. So you are God given because you are giving an opportunity for me to serve, and forgive me, I am not in a position to serve you. Where is that thought? Where is this thought? So whenever anybody knocks at your door, try to Grapple that opportunity, because when you are a giver, you grow. That's the reason in the Shastras is very misunderstood. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Sevaya, you serve me first, he says. If the student doesn't serve the Guru and takes the knowledge from the Guru, what happens to the student? See, the Guru is giving knowledge. The student takes the knowledge and doesn't serve the Guru. What will happen? What does it tantamount to? Selfish, no? So to ensure that the student is benefited by the knowledge, he says, first serve me, he says. Oh, Guru is very selfish fellow. Guru is not selfish. Guru doesn't want anything from you. He is telling you to serve him so that you don't become selfish. Because you are taking, no? Now there's another beautiful aspect to operating with the spirit of yajna. All our lives, we are trying to raise the bar. Even being a giver, you can raise the bar. For those of you who have a concern, what happens one who lives a life of yajna? Very, very famous verse. I don't know how many of you have heard this. The second chapter, the 40th verse, he says, Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Very famous verse. In this refers to, what is it referring to? In Karma Yoga, one who works for a larger good. In this, there is no loss of effort. Loss of effort means you will not get tired by serving a larger cause. The more you serve, the more energetic you are. In fact, you will get sick and tired of thinking of yourself. You will experience that fatigue syndrome. You know, there is a concept, please Google and find out. You will learn about this. There's something called as, you know, the real wealthy people. I don't know how many really fit into that category here. The real wealthy here referring to the real billionaires, the real opulent people. They experience what is known as wealth fatigue syndrome. I am not coining this concept, it exists. The real aristocrats, the real rich people experience, what is it? Wealth fatigue syndrome. They got sick and tired of making money. Sir, then why have I not feeling that, since you have not reached that state? Once you reach that state, you also will feel, because it's a law of life. It's not what I feel, what you feel. It's not an opinion. I can't take this position and give my opinion, please. I will not. I speak the truth, but the truth, nothing but the truth. Wealth fatigue syndrome. So you will get sick and tired of taking care of your own, thinking of yourself. But when you work for a larger cause, there is no loss of effort, nor is there a production of contrary result. Contrary result means? Unfavorable results don't come, like stress and strain, worry and anxiety, blood pressure going up, sleepless night. None of that will happen if you work for a larger good. Even very little, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even very little of this spirit of yajna will protect you from mahato bhayat, from great fear. There is no fear. What is fear?
State of insecurity.
What is insecurity?
When you are not sure.
What is your name first?
My name is Sai Krishna.
Sai Krishna. Cheppandi.
When you are feeling insecure, when you are not fully confident, or when you are afraid of another person correcting you or maybe judging you. That's
Sorry? Is it? Why are you reminding of death now? Sir, it is said, one day we all will die. Let us die on that day, rather than thinking of that and dying every day. They say in English, there's a saying, don't meet misfortunes midway. There's a saying, don't meet the midway. When it comes, we'll see, no? But what will happen if that happens? Let it happen, then we'll see. Why am I thinking of it now and worrying? So they say, don't meet misfortunes midway. So if that day comes, that inevitable day has to come. When it comes, we'll see. Why are you worried about it? But fear, there are two types of people in the world. One type of people in the world, they're insecure with all the wealth in the world, they're insecure. Second class of people, they are insecure without the wealth in the world, they want something more. There are people insecure with a job. If I lose the job, what will happen? So they're working hard to protect their job. So it's insecurity with the job. The other fellows who are insecure, I don't have a job. When will I get a job? So either way, whether you have the world with you or don't have the world with you, you are either way going to be insecure. Now question is, why does one feel insecure in life?
Maybe they are not happy.
Why are they not happy?
Maybe they are not completely satisfied with the work.
Why insecurity means they are not satisfied? He talks like this in the office also with you, huh? You didn't prepare me like this then? You bring people like this without preparing me? What is going? What am I going through here? You don't have an idea. I am feeling insecure sitting here. Please, I should be a little more comfortable here, no? Not insecure. Does opening the doors help little bit? Would it help?
Datta Prasad.
Why are people insecure? What is insecurity? Or rather, what is the cause of insecurity?
The uncertainty about the future.
So, at what stage would you be completely predict the future? A soothsayer or palmist? Would that be the only solution? Nobody can predict the future. When you came here, you predicted that it will be so hot like this. Then if you predicted you would not come here. Why should I go? I will rather sit in the comfort of my home. Why go all the way and sit in that heat and listen to his lecture and torture?
No, but I was very sure. I told my wife.
Ah.
You will be complaining about the AC today also.
Oh, I was complaining yesterday also. Sir, I was not complaining. I am only complaining the AC fellow is hitting this and is disturbing. Oh, predicted, correct. You are a good soothsayer. Predictor. I stand to be corrected. I am not complaining of the heat. I was only complaining of the draft hitting the mic so that it disturbs your audience, not of my sweat. I in fact told I don't mind sweating if it doesn't disturb in my deliverance. So I am not complaining of heat. What we have built with is titiksha. The Gita says tam titikshasva bharata. You must learn to endure life. What we have learned with the sadhana, spiritual sadhana means endurance. Titiksha irukku sir. So little heat we can bear. What is the cause of insecurity?
Not being in the present moment.
Not being in the present moment. Less faith in divinity.
Fear of losing out.
That is, fear is actually fear of losing something. I have a job, I have fear of losing a job. I have created some reputation, I'm fear what will people talk about it. If they, there is a nervousness about something that you have. Question is, why do you feel insecure? What's the cause of it? The fact that I'm asking is you have not answered it. Why? No.
When you feel things are out of your control.
I'm sorry?
When you feel things are out of your control.
Nothing is under control. Tell me what is under your control. Is your blood pressure under your control?
So that's why you're fearful. Like,
Do you mean to say I was constantly worried, oh my heart, is it going to pump next 1 minute? I don't know, I was mentioning, I went for a trek recently, there was a mention of that. The summit climb was from 11:45 p.m. till 11 a.m. Constant walking on the snow to a height of close to 16,000 feet. And the last summit was over on a hour and a half to 2 hours arises out of your own selfish attitude. Try and see it. If you don't believe me, trust this verse. Even swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. The moment even very little of this discipline will protect you from great fear. There is no fear, no insecurity. Now what is one thing that you can all be comfortable in this? The third chapter, 10th verse, he says, Saha yajna praja shruštva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam eshavostvishtva kamadhuk. He says, when the creator, whoever that creator is, when the creator in the beginning, when he created mankind, he created us with the capacity to perform yajna. So each one, everybody in this classroom has the capacity to perform yajna. You're born, it's a birthday gift you and I have got. By this shall you go out and propagate. Do whatever you want to do, but do it with the spirit of yajna. I find people are chartered accountants, they are businessmen here, they are doctors, they are engineers. Go out into your field with the spirit of yajna, because you're born with this capacity to serve, man. Don't tell me, I can't. No, it is a birthday gift you have received from the Lord himself, from the Creator himself. So tap that potential to serve and sacrifice. Imagine if each one of us go out into the world trying to transform the world by touching their lives with your spirit of giving. You don't have to write your properties away, please. I'm not saying anything like that. Just, you go to a vegetable shop, fellow, that vegetable shop there, that fellow says 35 rupees kg. Give 40 rupees per kg. You go to a roadside fellow to have a coconut water, 50 rupees, give 10 rupees more for coconut. That fellow is sitting into the 45 degrees heat, sun, and providing comfort for you to get coconut water 5 minutes from your house, and you go and say, no, give me 10 rupees less, no, I'll take 4 coconut. Okay? He will only cursing you. I am sitting under the sun without any protection, and you're coming from your comfort of your home, and down the road you come and I have this offering for you. You're bargaining for me, I'll take 4 coconut, give it to me for round figure. That attitude, you want to grab more, give more, and calculate every day. You give 5 rupees here, 2 rupees more, 10 rupees there. End of the month, you will hardly be giving 500,000 rupees. Would you become a pauper by that? But what have you done? That person will never forget you, because nobody does this. Everybody wants to squeeze. You go to vegetable market, karvepille kudupa free, Ade? Karvapaga you want free, because I bought 2 kgs of potato, 2 kgs of onion, karvapaga you want free. Huh? 1+1 offer going on. Look at your attitude. If you scrutinize your actions, you will see how that selfishness creeps in. So first is selfish, second unselfish, the third are selfless actions. Selfless actions are those that are driven for the highest goal of self-realization. There is no desire. When you act selfishly, there is a selfish desire. When you act unselfishly, there is an unselfish desire. But when you act selflessly, there is no desire. So the only thing that you're doing is, I want that self. I want to get to that moksha. I want self-realization. I am not interested in the good or bad, as you said. I don't want to either do good to you, I don't want to do bad to you. I have nothing to do with the good or bad. A famous verse from the Bhajagovindam says this. Rathyacarpata virachita kanthaha punya punyavi varjita panthaha yogi yogani yojita chitto ramate balon matavadeva bhaja govindam Govindam bhaja mudhamate samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukrin karane nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Yet dukrin karane, knowing well it is not going to help me, save me when the time comes, appointed time comes. Nahi nahi rakshati, right? We're running behind that word. So here he says the sage who wears a shawl made of street rags. Now here he says who path transcends merit and demerit. He is not interested in either merit nor demerit. I am not interested in doing good or bad. All I am interested in, I want to get to the self. I don't want punya. When do you get punya? Unselfish actions. When you get papa, I don't want to do selfish, I don't want to do unselfish, I don't want punya, apunya, vivarjita pantha. I want to be liberated from the punya or papa. Then what do? I only do what I am obligated to do, what I am obliged to do. So I don't carry a motive to my action. All what I am expected to do, I do it, that's all. Okay, quickly I ask a question. Where was the Bhagavad Gita given? Those who know the answer, please refrain. Where was the Bhagavad Gita given? Ma, Solungo, Shamla ma. Where was the Bhagavad Gita given? In the battle of Kurukshetra. Where in the battle of Kurukshetra? To Arjuna indeed, but where in the battle? Sorry, I am not asking when. Where in the battle? In the battleground, correct? Where in the battleground? If you carefully, closely analyze, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, in between the two armies that were arrayed, in the aisle as it were that was created between the two armies, in that space there was a transaction of that Brahma Vidya. The knowledge of the self was given by the Lord to Arjuna. Now why in between the two armies? What were the two armies representing? Dharma, dharma. So that knowledge of the self has got nothing to do with dharma or dharma. So you want to get to the self, you must learn to raise your level to perform selfless actions. A term which is so loosely used, nobody understands the grandeur of selfless action. The true glory of action is selfless action. In one word, what all we are going to say in the 4 days, if you want to sum it up in one word, I would say selfless actions. But it will take a lifetime for you to get to that state. Since it is a far-fetched state to reach selfless, I say start being unselfish. Raise the bar of being unselfish. The more and more unselfish you get, keep purifying your motive. The less selfish you become, the more purer the motive becomes. You come to a point where there is no motive at all. Imagine if I take a concentration of Roo Afza. Irka market la Roo Afza? Oh, sugarless Roo Afza irka? I thought it is no more in the market. Rajima, Roo Afza irka? I remember listening of that. Okay, Roo Afza, I give you 100 ml of concentrated Roo Afza. Hey, what do you do? You put a liter of water, then it will become still concentrated there. But then imagine I put 50 liters of water into Roo Afza, or Roo Afza into 50 liters of can. What will happen? Can you flavor a little bit at least? Little. Okay. Put it into 100 liters of water, what will happen? Take the Roo Afza and put it into the ocean. Completely liquidated. It doesn't exist at all. Like that, there is no iota of motive of I and my in your action. That's when it becomes selfless. That is a very fast state. Where in fact, in Vedanta it is said, you are a greatest of worker when you are no worker. When you consider yourself a no worker. Like right now I am giving this knowledge, I don't consider I am doing anything. And I am not being falsely modest. Nothing in this knowledge is mine. How can I arrogate anything to myself? I bow down with utter humility to that galaxy of gurus who have contributed to this wisdom, who have preserved this wisdom for us. If not for them, I wouldn't have it. So how can I claim anything in it mine? So the conscious effort is at every stage to liquidate yourself and do karyam karma, whatever you are expected to do. Whenever duty calls on you, go and do your part as diligently, as dexterous as you can be. Just do it and move on with no motive. What do you want out of it? There is nothing I want out of it. I don't even want your well-being, because if I want your well-being, again a motive. Somebody planted this idea that this must start. Somehow that thought gained momentum. Thanks to those who mooted that idea, thanks to the people, those who worked on the idea, thanks to you all to make this experience a reality. It has happened. What I have to do, I am just a nimitta matram, I am just an instrument to play my role and get out. Why should I arrogate anything to myself? So if every action you do it, so try to take out that motive element from that action. Try not to have a motive. It's not easy, but you can think of trying to purify the motive. First of all, be conscious of the motive. Ask yourself, what is the motive behind this? Why am I doing it? If you find a blemish, try and get it out of the way. Having taken out of the way, there again is a blemish. So keep purifying the blemish of your motives. Come to a point where there's nothing, no blemish at all. That is selfless actions. Not easy, not easy. But don't worry of that. Work on being unselfish. You get to selfless. Now moving on. The next concept on the glory of action is daksha. Daksha means you're dexterous. In the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives 35 qualities of a devotee of God. What are the 35 qualities of a bhakta? And he says a bhakta or a devotee is very dexterous. Now what does the English word dexterous mean? Dexterity means what?
Having some
Skillful. I keep hearing the word skillful. Any other word? Sorry? Finesse. What else? Not wrong. I have to do lip reading. Efficiency, very efficient, very smart, very skillful, very prompt, very alert to imperfections. You pick up imperfections very fast and correct it. Very vigilant, prompt, attentive. So you put all these together, being sharp, alert, dexterous, skillful. In fact, one word that strikes me is skill. How skillful, how smart you are, how there's a perfection, there's a finesse that he said. Now, there are two verses in the Gita. The second chapter verse 50, second chapter verse 48. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukruta dushkrute tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. In fact, last three words you got to mark here. He says yoga karmasu kaushalam. What is yoga? He says skill in action is yoga. Skill in action. Karmasu kaushalam. I don't know how many of you were conscious when you left your footwear outside. How skillful have you left your footwear? By the way, yesterday Sethu Ramanji's footwear is missing. So somebody
Got back today.
thank God. That is dexterity in action. Who is that kind soul? Don't reveal yourself. But don't wear my slippers. And the dexterity please follow. Otherwise I have to wait for tomorrow for my slipper to come back. I'll be very insecure without my slippers.
Mistaken identity.
No, oneness. You can feel the oneness everywhere. What is mine? What is yours? Enna wisdom, enna philosophy பேசுறீங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் what is mine and what is I just took what came into my feet and went off. Profound wisdom we could see there. So here he says in the 50th verse of 2nd chapter, he says skill in action is yoga. So how, it's like, if you were to look at a pujari in a sanctum sanctorum where there's an altar, how dexterous he is. Every deity, every ornament, every aspect of that sanctum sanctorum is spick and span. He or she would not enter the sanctum sanctorum without a bath. Muddy, they say. They're not to be touched. Their garments are not to be touched. Is muddy, don't come anywhere near. You go into the sanctum sanctorum with such sanctity, such purity. Everything is so beautifully arrayed, decorated with bhavana. You do with such grace. Every flower is checked to the minutest detail. Is it spoiled? Is it rotten? No, it's not fit. The best is offered. That dexterity, even arranging chapel. My guru used to say, your real dexterity is how is your bathroom kept. Your real level of hygiene is how your bathrooms are kept. That is the real level of hygiene. Not how your living room is. I open your cupboard clothes will come and hug me. Beautifully laminated. Ulla open banana adengappa. Full of love. They'll come and hug you. That is not dexterity. Pushing and put it up. Done. Guests are coming. Allah put it ulla podungo. Come, we are ready for receiving the guest. Adilla. Dexterity is you got to be conscious of imperfections. In the ashram, not again trying to boast of anything, my room was told that it should never be locked. So that's 4.5 years I stayed in the ashram, my room was never locked. Because everything was kept in such precision. If there were 5 t-shirts, they would have kept iron like this as a block. If there are 6 handkerchiefs, they'll be as a block. 3 napkins will be blocked. So everything is so systematic, so meticulously organized. So they used to say, we will use your room to show as a demo how our student keeps standard. And there were certain fellows told, never keep your door unlocked. Keep it locked all the time. By mistake also we don't want to open the door. Because I know from the laundry directly will come and pile on the bed. He will take, where is that garment, where is this fellow? He'll take it and he'll remain there only. So all the laundry is used from the washed pile there. Imagine showing that room to a guest. Idu a standard. Here I'm giving out all my secrets. Don't tell outside anybody. Yeah? So dexterity in everything that you do. Now in the next verse he says, Yogastha kuru karmani sangham tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Again mark the 3 words. In the previous verse he said yoga karmasu kaushalam. Here he is saying samatvam yoga uchyate. So here you are getting the most profound definition of yoga. What is yoga? What is yoga? Yoga is skill in action is yoga. Evenness of mind is yoga. So these 2 aspects define yoga. Now, when are your actions skillful? When you operate consciously with your intellect, your actions are skillful. Now when you operate on intellect, what comes? Your mind is calm. As he says, evenness of mind is yoga. When you operate on intellect, you get the peace of mind. When your mind is peaceful, what happens, Ramji? You are able to focus and think. So when your mind is calm, intellect becomes steady and alert. Right? Now again, when your intellect is steady alert, what happens? Your mind is calm. So this is a interdependent cycle of what yoga is. So yoga is to operate with your buddhi, which creates a peace of mind. When your actions are skillful and smart, it creates a peace of mind. That peace of mind creates an intellect. Intellect again creates a peace of mind. So intellect and peace of mind are interdependent. And if you are able to do these, that is when you live a life of yoga. Yoga is not trying to merely do, not stretching your limbs alone. That also is an anga, an aspect of yoga. But that alone is not yoga. Yoga is way beyond. Yoga is that spiritual union with the self. The union with the higher is yoga. So this is dexterity of action, because when your mind is agitated, remember, you can't think. That's why they say, no, when you are agitated, I don't take any hasty decisions, man. Wait for to calm down, then you can think. But if you are want the intellect to function and think clearly, the prerequisite is your mind must be calm. If your mind is agitated, you can't think. Now, how to keep your mind calm? Use your buddhi. So, catch-22 situation. You need both. Now, are you all with me? Following? Where are you? In the hall. I know. What are you listening to? I know you are listening to me. What are you listening to me? What are you talking? Success. What is success? Is anybody in this classroom who doesn't want success? You also want success, no? Okay, tell me, what is success? What's your name, sir? Varun Tej. Varun? Varun Jain.
He is another student.
Oh. Good to have you, Varun. What is your understanding of success?
Anyone getting anything, whatever he wants is success.
I'm asking you, anybody getting anything is success for you? I get a Mercedes Benz, success for you? What is your definition of success?
Becoming a chartered accountant and coming 1 year.
Okay. Not wrong, sir. What is success? What are synonyms of success? Instead of being happy. I'm not talking of contentment. Next is contentment. I'm talking of success, pa. How to survey success? Contentment. Onnu venda bank account empty, content irukani. That be very prompt. The guru is talking. All students are there. Guru is talking. I must hear.
I need the mic.
Mic kudunga.
Guruji, since the word is success, Ralph Waldo Emerson gives us a beautiful definition of the term success, and I would like to share. To laugh often and love much. To laugh often and love much. To win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children. To earn the appreciation of critics and endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave this world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to achieve success.
I don't think even Emerson would have spoken so eloquently. He must have fumbled once or twice. Wonderful. What is success? Achievement, accomplishment. Don't hold back. Throw. Solungo. Achieving a goal. Fulfilling a duty.
The completion of our duties.
Completion of your duties. See, in fact, the very word success synonymously means it's the fruit, right? Success is the fruit of any effort, right? When you say fruit, what does it mean? Result. When you say result, it means
Consequence of your action.
consequence of action, which is the future end result. So success means it is the fruit, success means it's the future, success means it is unborn, success means you have no right over it. I know all of you are looking with great suspicion. What is it? You have no right over it? Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sanghostva karmani. Most famous verse, right? Everybody knows it, nobody practices it. Everybody knows it by heart. Even the child who knows, I know Bhagavad Gita, which verse? Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, they'll chant. Everybody knows about it, but nobody practices it. Why? Everybody anxiety for fruit. I want. If you know this, you should practice this. What does it say? Your right, karmani eva adhikara, your right is in action only. Fruit doesn't belong to you. It is not yours. Let not the fruit of action be your motive, nor let you be attached to inaction. So your adhikara is only with karma. So fruit, again come back to the definition. Fruit means, success means fruit, success means future, success means unborn, success means doesn't belong to you. What belongs to you is your dharma, your right, your duty. Just do your job and then don't worry of the result, man. If you do your job well, result will come your way, invariably. If it doesn't come your way, accept it. I have not sown the seeds yet of success. Why am I sitting and complaining? Why should you sit and complain? Why should you ask for the clouds to open up and throw gold on you when you don't deserve it? If you deserve it, nobody can take it away from you. Why are you complaining? Just get on to action. Do your dharma, do your part. Forget the rest. Karmani eva adhikara. So how to convert your action into worship? How do you convert your action into worship? This mantra is giving you. How to convert? Renouncing your craving, renouncing your attachment. You renounce these two, your action becomes worship. So on the contrary, action means present. Action means here. Action means now. The moment, this moment. Future is the fruit. Action is this moment. Now this is one flavor of success. Another flavor of success. How do you achieve success? Another very famous verse. Ananyashchintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. In fact, this particular verse is the geometrical center of the Bhagavad Gita. 9th chapter, 22nd verse. In fact, it's the pivot where the 18 chapters of the Gita is being balanced. It comes everywhere. You must have eyes to see. Everywhere it comes. Because very famous verse. What does it say? To those persons who worship me, thinking of nothing else, to those ever seeking union, I grant them yoga and kshema. This particular verse I can speak one week I can speak. ஒரு வாரம் பேசலாம் இது ஒரு வருஷம். You will just, I'm just skimming through the skin surface. You will notice I have no time with me. I wish this lecture series for over 10 days to do any justice to the profundity of wisdom that we have. it's an insult to the text, not doing what these great masters have given us. Injustice. I'm committing a sin. ஒரு பாவம் பண்ணுறேண்ணா இதெல்லாம் கோட் பண்ணி வாட் இஸ் த மெசேஜ் கொடுக்கலன்னா என்ன இது? சும்மா ஐம் சாண்டிங் அண்ட் கிவிங் அ பிரீஃப் அண்ட் மூவிங் ஆன். I have the energy, you don't have the, I don't think you can lend your ears for 10 days. I'm not blaming on you, I'm only trying to tell the paucity of time that we have to do justice to the text or and yet I'm not taking a text. But the concept is so profound. Now what this verse is saying is, so to make it simple, I put it in bullet points, so even though I don't explain, I convey the point, I hit the nail on the head. So what the verse is giving, the 9th chapter 22nd verse gives you a technique of success. What it says is, first fix a firm goal. Once you fix a goal, the goal should be firm. Don't waver thereafter. Don't think twice of changing the goal. You're considered, fix the goal. Having fixed the goal, your direction is fixed. Like in GPS, once you set the destination, you get the road map. Isn't it? When you don't fix the destination, there's no road to where. But the destination is fixed, road is road. You know where, what to do, what not to do. And then the next thing is, having known what to do, thereafter don't think anything else. All your actions are dedicated towards that goal. I am clear, my goal is spiritual evolution. I want to attain moksha in this lifespan. If that is my lofty goal, it will be a Herculean task to get there. But having said that, I am not going to change my mind. If at all, the goal is getting clearer and clearer. In the Shastras, Gita, he says, one in a generation attains that state. And I want to get to that state what Buddha has attained. I want to get to the state what Christ has attained. I want to get to that state. Ambitious it may sound, but I want to get there. I am very clear with that. Now, having set that goal, nothing else will distract me. But all my actions, ananya chinta. Chinta is thinking. Anya chinta is too many thinking. Ananya chinta is no other thinking. Ananyas chintayanto mam. So you decode the word, that's what it means. Chinta, thinking, anya chinta, many thinking, ananya chinta, no other thinking except what I want to think of. Blinkers on. I just put my blinkers on. I don't do anything which is going to not take me to my goal. Anything that doesn't take me to my goal, I will not do it. So if you don't remind me of my goal, I say thank you very much, bye-bye. I will not associate with you. That kind of a bullish attitude that I am hell-bent on getting to my goal. And if you do that, he says, you get what? You get yoga and kshema. Yoga is, you get that spiritual well-being. Kshema is your material well-being. Kshema is protecting what you have. Yoga is what you don't have. So whether you want material success, whether you want spiritual success, what you need to do is, you must be having this uncompromising consistency, that unprostituting effort. You don't compromise that effort at any cost. Keep doing it again and again. And you all will agree with me, the most difficult thing in life is to be consistent. I want to exercise, but once in a week I go, maximum twice a week I go to the park and exercise. I am already a registered permanent life member in a gym and yoga club, and I can go anywhere in India. Wherever I go, I can walk into that. Other membership ella irukka, but எப்போ போறீங்க நீங்க? No consistency. Now a question to you all to come back with an answer tomorrow. The question is, why is it difficult to be consistent? We know it is difficult to be consistent, but the question is, why is it difficult to be consistent? It is 7:59. Oh, my clock says sharp 8 o'clock. All means. I was about to tell that now the flow, for the next 5 minutes you can ask any questions you want. Yes sir, please.
So to have a goal and then working for that goal in that direction, will it not be selfish?
Will it not be selfish?
I'll be selfish if I pursue that.
Sir, the definition of a goal itself, it has to be beyond your personal interest. There's nothing in it for you in it. That is when it defines itself as a goal. If I am doing any, for example, if I say I want to attain moksha, just for discussion's sake, or even taking this, the boy, he said, I want to become a civil servant, I want to impact 10 crore lives of people. I don't know how he got to the number, but he wanted to impact. Now if he says, I want to take that job or position to get name, fame, recognition, money, power, then it is selfish. But if I want to use that as an opportunity to serve others. Sir, how many followers Christ had? Was Christ understood in his lifetime? In fact, to the point where he was crucified on the cross. The worst anybody could do to a man of his caliber, or any person for that matter. Today more than half the world is following Christianity. So what service he has done? By lifting himself to that state of salvation, generations are benefited by his wisdom. Now what is selfish in that? If I want to aspire to get to that higher spiritual echelon, get to that state of perfection, never mind if I fall short of it, but I will not compromise my goal. And what is selfish in that? And I am not doing anything for myself in it. In fact, the whole objective of a goal is to liquidate your I, liquidate your ego. Right? Yes, sir. One may just hold on until the mic gets to you, sir.
You are talking about goal-oriented action. Again, you are saying your action should be devoid of any fruit. That is meaningless action. Are they not contradictory?
Good observation. You need to have a direction to get to. Without a goal, actions become directionless. Agree? But once having fixed the goal, you're never anxious about the goal. So while I'm acting, I considered this action, whether this action is going to take me to my goal. Spending these 4 evenings talking on glory of action, is it in line according to my principles, or what I want to achieve in life? Having done that, I'm not consciously anxious, oh, how close am I to my goal? That anxiety is dropped. So you need a goal because it gives you a direction. Having fixed a goal, you act moment to moment. You do what is needed. And when you are moment to moment, you are able to check on micro actions if that action doesn't take me to my goal. So for example, if I am a person who is conscious of health, would I eat any junk food? Or even if I were to have cheat days, they call it cheat days. Even if I have a cheat day, I make sure I go and work it out so that it doesn't end up as fat and unhealthy reserve in my body. Or I don't not exercise, or would I do anything which is going to bring ill health to me? If my goal is to be healthy, would you do that? So that awareness is important. So goal is essential, but having fixed the goal, never have anxiety to reach the goal.
No, but there is one thing, you are having a long-term goal, that is the fruit. While you are having the process, you find you are not likely to achieve. So you may have to do course correction. For that you have to think about the fruit at every stage, because otherwise you can't do the course correction at all.
What I would have is not fruit, I would have relative goals, intermediate goals. And I keep checking myself at the intermediate goals, milestones. For example, I have forecasted my life for the next 30-40 years, considering my given health, considering my lifestyle, considering the way I live my life. I should live, let's say, 75 years, plus minus. Okay. So I've got another 35 years from now or 25 years from now. So if I have to be there at 75, by the age of 70 I must be there. By 60 I must be there. By 55 I must be there. By 52 I must be there. By 50 I must be there. 6 months from time I must be there. 3 months, 1 month, tomorrow, now. I must plan like this. This is called long-term and short-term planning. That panoramic vision to life you must be able to project and foresee, and then provide for eventualities. I might die tomorrow, better luck next Janma. I can't help it. I can't have anything. I can't guarantee. How will you, don't ask me a question, huh? How will you say that you will live for 75 years? You just said to me nothing is certain. Don't ask me please, Amma. As example only, right? Okay sir, right? Yes ma. Yes please, 1 minute after him. Yes sir.
Actually, my doubt is regarding the yesterday's talk, that is about Swadharma and Paradharma.
Right.
You have emphatically told that you should stick to Swadharma and the no self-mention should go to Paradharma, where the danger zone is there now.
Correct.
And sorry, I would like to seek your clarification. I understand scriptures are actually eternal, evergreen, ever real, ever true. If that is the case, how to relate it to the material world? I am sorry, you have taken us to the spiritual world. I am trying to bring you to the material world. In the material world, right now what is going? Unlearn and relearn, innovate, change, because people say that change is the only thing which is permanent in the world. In how we relate that one to this one, apart from this unlearn to relearn, multitasking. If that is the case, can't we jump, or are we forced to jump from our so-called dharma to different dharmas? So if I put it wrongly, kindly excuse me, pardon me, but this is a doubt lingering in me from yesterday onwards. Kindly clarify.
No, you can't bring me down to material plane, so don't try. You can try, it is not bringing me down. In fact, I looked that particular mantra is actually talking from a material plane. When he says you have a Swadharma, Swadharma is to choose a field of activity which you are going to live and work in the field. What is spirituality about it? The spirituality came in the second point. The first point, field of activity, is the first step I said. The second point was mode of conduct. That is where your spiritual transformation begins. That is where your growth happens as a human. You flourish, you blossom as a human from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. But the field of activity is something which is defined by your purva karma. Now if you tell me suddenly, let's say, sir, I think you have done enough of, let's say for example, I know for certain touch wood it will not happen. The day I am not inspired to talk, I will stop speaking. I don't need a motive to talk. I don't need an incentive to talk. The knowledge itself is so inspiring, it will continue to try. But let's say for example that I get fed up and tired of this knowledge. For 34 years I am talking the same thing. Chances are you get tired, no? Let's say, sir, having tried your hand, luck and best in this field, let me try. I have got lovely child accountants. I'm sure you will give me a clerical job in your Suresh ji. Clerical job, we will tell correct figures correct plus calculator press panni, I'll give you a thing. He'll be gracious enough, he'll give a couple of thousand rupees more for a salary for me. I will try my luck at child accountancy. Because I must be in the modern era, I must be adaptable. I must be able to switch roles and responsibilities. If required, I will do it. But would I be comfortable doing it, sir? If required. You know, in the field, as you know, now it's all around you, the Wisdom Foundation is there. It was a thought in my head few years ago, now it's a reality, and we are growing as an institution to serve this knowledge. But in the institution, there are no external administrators, believe me. So everything in the institution is managed by us. There are a few volunteers there whom you see here playing various roles. They help us carry on. Now, I will proudly say, as perhaps I may be the guru in the institution, there is no job in the foundation I have not done, including cleaning the bathrooms. I clean the bathrooms, I will sweep the garden, I will manicure the garden, I'll vacuum, I'll mop the floor, I'll clean cobwebs. If you want to know what is dexterity in putting a bed sheet, come and see the institution. If you have to put a bed sheet, a bedspread onto the bed, it must be done with dexterity. So I apply dexterity in the way the bedspread is put. So I am proud to say, as a guru, I am eligible to do every job in the institution. I teach, I oversee administration, everything I am able to oversee. But one thing, paradharma, is I can't market this knowledge. You tell me to market it, I am an utter flop in marketing. I will not market this knowledge. I will come and teach the knowledge, but I can't sell this knowledge to you. I can't go and market and say, sell this knowledge. I will not do that. I will sit quietly studying, but I will not go in the marketplace and study and sell this. You give me a platform, I will talk. I will not come and sell this knowledge. So there are certain strengths and weaknesses, and I am able to adapt. So with this knowledge, you will develop the capacity. And I am trying to impress you all, please. I am trying to answer your question as honestly. You should be able to do any job that is required without any inhibition, provided you have that skills and know-how. Now I know there are areas of accounts is my weak link. So I surrender to Jayama. She is a banker, she is a trustee, she oversees the accounts of the firm. It's a trust. It's every penny has to be accounted. No, I don't dabble my fingers there. I surrender to her. I say, you take care of it. But I question her, is this the procedure, is this the thing? I have the right to question whether the system is right or not, or create a right SOP so that we are in line with the authorities. That all, sir. You all have time, couple of minutes. In the play Othello by Shakespeare, Othello and Rodrigo and his friend are having a conversation. Cassio and Rodrigo, if I'm not wrong, Cassio and Rodrigo are having a conversation. Somebody has to be appointed as the chief of the army, and the discussion is they brought a rank outsider and appointed as the head of the army. In the play Othello, and the discussion amongst them is, they brought a rank outsider and they put him as the head of the army, and that to whom? A mathematician. They brought a mathematician and put him as the head of the army. That fellow has no experience of warfare. He is a mathematician. Huh? What do you gather from that, sir? What do you all gather from that? The post for the head of the army general post, he appoints a mathematician as the head of the army. Someone who is second in line should have got it, but Othello brings a rank outside and appoints. These two fellows are discussing. Why a mathematician to lead an army?
Calculations involved in combating the enemy?
No knowledge of warfare. He is not a man of warfare, he is a mathematician. What it means is, a mathematician is a man who thinks logically. If you have a head on your shoulder, if you can think clearly, you can even lead an army. That's what it means. You may not have knowledge of warfare. I may not have knowledge of business, but I can easily run your business because I can think clearly. That's all I can do. My job is think. If you have a head on your shoulders, think clearly. You can do anything under the earth, under the sun. You can do any action. It's just a matter of adapting and being proficient.
So the mathematician went from Swadharma to Paradharma and was successful.
Who?
That mathematician, his Swadharma was mathematics, but he shifted to warfare.
Sir, the mathematics, there's a
Paradharma and
no. There's a pun on the word mathematician. It is not to be taken literally. Who's sitting is not a professor of mathematics, sir, please. That's why I said our job is to do justice to these great men of wisdom. Mathematician means one who thinks clearly. That's all it means. Not one who puts a plus b square is equal to c square or z square or whatever square. It's not that equation. I'm not talking of formulas and equations. One who thinks clearly. Because I am able to think clearly, I am able to look into matters in an institution. I have to have experience. In fact, I bank on their experience, but I question them. I can question them. You can use your intellect and liberty of liberal questioning, can't you? That's what is needed. You may not have knowledge. You surrender to the knowledge, but you can think. Sir, I'm not trying to impress you, but you all should come. It's your own home, the Wisdom Institute. You come in Sainik Puri. You will see how the quality of daksha, dexterity is practiced there. Everything in its place, everything has a place, everything fits in a place. There are so many things that our people offer. In fact, Ramji was very sweet. I'm reminded of him. Once he said, Guruji, there is a very beautiful artwork which is very dear to me and I want to give it. I said to him, please send me the picture. When I saw the picture, I said, sorry sir, I don't think it fits into the institute anywhere. I humbly rejected it. Am I not, sir? Not because that piece was not right. It doesn't fit into that place there. Daksha. I can see 110 imperfections in this auditorium. Yet I did not allow the imperfection to affect my peace of mind or clarity of thought. That also is daksha. There are so many imperfections right now, and I can allow that to disturb me. Including, I told these people, Gayatri Ma in particular, I said, please cover that table which is hitting right into my face. It was not covered. And the advice I got is, Guruji, put your blinkers on. There is a lot of wisdom in the Wisdom Foundation. So you can get from many sources. So I put my blinkers on, I taught the Gita to you, or taught the text to you. So when you have this knowledge, you will be adaptable. Believe me or not, you will not rigid. You will be as flexible, as rigid, as adaptable as possible. All right? Thank you. So we'll conclude and we will see you all tomorrow. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.